Welcome back to Anxiety Slayer. It's wonderful to have you with us for a conversation this week about calming practices for challenging times. Welcome back, Ananga.
Hey, Shan.
So good to be with you this week and to share some of the practices and books and things that we enjoy as we are moving through different times in the world that sometimes can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And before we begin, I think we should probably share some of the changes that are coming up with Anxiety Slayer as we move through the year. We are moving the Anxiety Slayer Academy to another platform, and we've sent out some emails. So if you're part of the Anxiety Slayer Academy or part of our private Facebook group, you've probably heard this already. But if you're not receiving our emails, please note that we will be closing the Anxiety Slayer Academy on Teachable, and you have until the end of May to download any of the courses that you may have purchased. We'll send out additional reminders before that time, but wanted to make you aware of that. And then also we're going to start moving to a every other week schedule with the podcast episodes. We've decided that is in our best interest right now for what's going on in our lives after 15 years of recording shows weekly, and hope that you understand and stay with us for 2 episodes a month in place of 4.
Yeah. I think our listeners know that I've been living with chronic health issues for many years. And at the moment, there's a new diagnosis I'm dealing with, which is particularly challenging for my daily life. So just navigating that, and it'll be easier for us to come together fortnightly. Hope you'll still be with us, still listening every other week. And thanks for your understanding.
And thank you for continuing to partner with me as you're moving through this diagnosis and kind of reworking your life. And I'm grateful that we can do what we can do. And also, I look at this as it's a time in the trajectory of Anxiety Slayer where we're kind of winding things down a bit naturally anyway. So we're still going to show up. You're still going to hear our conversations, and we'll support you the best we can. And also, you still have a library of episodes. We have so many episodes that you can still listen to, whether we're putting out something brand new or not.
Yeah, nearly 800 episodes, around 250 downloads on Patreon. And for anyone who's purchased one of our courses, everything's downloadable within the course. All the audio, the handouts, everything's there. You just go through the lessons and download what you want. So lots of resources, lots of good things to listen to that have helped us and we've shared over the years.
Hmm. Well, let's dig in now to our topic for the day. And I think it's a timely one to come back to calming practices, looking after ourselves, going internal as much as we can in a world that seems some days to be on fire. Uh, to not let so much of the external energies be the roadmap of our lives, but to have our own, to create our own, and to be in a space where we are looking after ourselves the best way we can.
Yeah. I think for me over the years, going through a few, as we all do, a few bumps or a few dark nights of the soul. I was listening to somebody this morning, somebody that I really admire and consider a mentor, and she said something about, you know what to do next time around when you hit a bump, when you've had a few bumps in your life with your health or trauma or whatever. She said it kind of conditions us and we know what to do. And I think for me, that's also been true. And something that's really helped me is to look for the opportunities in adversity, to get to know my nature better, get to know what serves me well, and to explore what really matters to me, whatever's going on with my body or my mind or externally that I don't agree with decisions that people are making that affect my life and the life of people I care about. And it's very easy for us sometimes to lose a lot of energy and experience a lot of anxiety if we feel helpless about those things. We're either going to feel more anxious or more angry or possibly both. And of course, we're entitled to feel whatever we feel, but not to do it in a way that harms us and depletes our energy. So I like to look at the opportunities in adversity to explore our nature, go deeper into what really matters, what always matters, what's always there, despite what else is going on, and water our roots. That's the first place I go.
Mm. And it's a gift to know what it is that we need in order to feel more calm and relaxed and comfortable in our body mind, to be cognizant of that, to say, oh, I'm spinning out right now. I know what I need. I need a cup of tea. I need to call a friend. I need to just sit and take a breath and not let this spin me out to the best of my ability. Like, oh, that's familiar. Kind of like what you said earlier. Once you've been through something, you learn, and then you know what to do next time. And as the next times come around, no matter what we're speaking of, whether it be your health or whether it be uh, politics or whether it be something that's happening under the roof in your own home with the people that you love and live with, it's just coming back to those calming places that we have created for ourselves that we know. My true nature is if I'm feeling spun, I know that I need to just step back a moment and talk to myself very lovingly and remind myself that I don't need to have an answer right now. I don't have to have control right now. I don't have to do anything other than look after myself. And if I do that, I'll move through whatever has me feeling out of sorts much quicker than I would as I used to, trying to just push through, push until my body said, "Oh, okay, you're sick. Time to be in bed," or like, "Okay, you're not paying attention. So this is how we're gonna stop you." Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. And also, I think when we push from a place of groundlessness,
Yeah.
that really can be rash. As I'm saying that, I'm having like a visual of somebody trying to push a heavy cart and their feet are slipping. You know, if you're going to push something, you need to be grounded. You need to have your feet planted in the earth. And when we don't have that and we don't have clarity, but we just think, this isn't working or this isn't comfortable and I want to change it, but we don't have that groundedness, we don't have that presence of mind, we don't have internal good counsel, we can get ourselves in so much more trouble. We can get into arguments, we can make poor decisions, we can, make hasty decisions, and it will come back and bite us every time. So even just knowing to respond with self-kindness, it takes away that helplessness because we're making a decision. When you were speaking, I was listening to the way you stated that, and it sounded like a positive choice. I'm choosing to slow down, choosing to talk to myself carefully, and to understand that right now I don't have the answers, and that's okay. Sometimes we never have the answers,
Yeah.
and that's somewhere we need to figure out how to be okay too. But we're not going to get it by pushing back and wearing ourselves out.
Yeah. One of the things I don't miss is that the younger version of me and making decisions under duress, being emotional, being supercharged, and uh, and not making the very best decisions in those moments because you are ungrounded. And I realize I'm part of a cycle of life. Hopefully, as we get on in years, become a little bit more wise and know that sometimes the very best thing that you can do is stop.
Yeah, and that's the idea, to become more wise.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, sometimes the best thing we can do is stop and to be okay with it.
Mm,
Illness has taught me so many things, but one of them is I can sit in a chair with a blanket on my lap and a hot drink and a book and a pillow behind my head and not be resting at all.
right.
Externally, somebody would come in the room and think, oh, Nanga's resting, that's nice. But internally, it isn't nice. Internally, I'm thinking of the things I could or should be doing instead of just giving myself permission to rest. And gradually over the years, I've learned to look at that and give myself permission to
Mm,
rest properly because I can sit in a chair and my body isn't moving at all, but my mind really is.
right.
And then it's sending all the stress chemicals and all the, you know, all the stuff is going on. So repeated experience with chronic illness has kind of been a training for me, and it's taught me to look at that. Are you really resting?
Mm,
Are you listening to something beautiful with your jaw clenched and your shoulders around your ears? Or can you just lean back a bit, take some deep breaths, and just be really nourished right now?
well, and
Yeah.
I've noticed with you as well is that, because of what you've been navigating through for, well, at least since I've known you on and off, you have found a way to find the beauty in the simple things, in the, uh, being able to just be outside even for a few moments, to be able to move your body to the degree that you can without expecting more, to asking for support and receiving support without putting yourself through the shame pit of needing help sometimes. You're just so strong. I really admire you.
Very kind. Thank you. I think it's what we all do in those situations. It's like learning to sail. I've made mistakes. I've learned things the hard way, but I have learned to tune in to tiny moments of beauty. Just today, I was noticing there's this green haze coming in the UK around the trees, like this kind of aura, this halo of green where the leaves are coming, but they're not fully manifest yet. The buds are starting to open, and I like to go and take photos close up of those things and really look at them and be very present and grounded with them.
It's such a beautiful example of nature doesn't force anything to happen.
No,
Everything just happens as it happens. And I was thinking about that the other day when we have this never ending winter in northern Michigan, it seems. And all of the daffodils have shot up through the dirt in the garden. They're not open yet because they've been kind of teased awake, and eventually this snow will pass and things will warm up and those beauties will open, and they just do it all in their own time.
yeah,
And I realize that for most of our listeners you've heard this before, but I just can't stress enough how incredibly important it is to let things be, to let things naturally unfurl, to learn from nature in that way, and to do your very, very best not to try to force anything to happen because, wow, that's a whole lot of energy being spent on something that may or may not come to pass. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you told yourself that therapy is too expensive? I get that because traditional in person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session. But when you choose BetterHelp Online Therapy, you can save an average of up to 50% per session. And with BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, and you can get quality care at a price point that makes sense for your budget. And The therapists at BetterHelp can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress to you name it. Therapy is excellent for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries, and can help you empower yourself to be the best version of yourself. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. Simply join a session with the click of a button. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/slayer today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/slayer. Before the break, we were kind of just talking about being mindful of the things that light us up and bring us peace. Now let's dig into some of the practices that we'd like to share that have been supportive for us. I'll go ahead and pass the baton to you to get started.
There's a few I always come back to. And again, I think this is really about understanding our nature. And I didn't the first half of my life. I knew there were things I liked and things that were important to me, but I wasn't really in an environment that supported that. And as I've got older and now living mainly alone, I've really been able to get to know myself more. And it's been positive, not easy, not always easy, but very positive. And I'm clear now on what consistently helps me and where my heart benefits from going. The first thing is writing, journaling. I journal every morning to clear my mind, write everything out. If my hands are okay, I like to use pen and paper. Sometimes I need to type, and then I'll delete it. Sometimes I really will write, a load and just get everything out, and then I'll just delete it, and I feel better for doing that. Or if it's on paper, rip it up and let it go. It helps me find clarity and direction. And right underneath all the stuff I need to write out will be aspirations, reflections, the good stuff. But I need to get the other stuff out of the way first. That really, really helps me. And another way I like to write is to listen to people who inspire me and take notes. Writing really helps me to sit with a pen and paper and listen to somebody, really helps me be present and gather inspiration. And when times are challenging, I can find solace that way too. I find if I'm writing or in good, deep conversations, the pain in my body is so much further below my awareness,
Mm.
just fades out when I'm really locked into the things that nourish me. So that's an interesting thing I've noticed over the years. So yeah, pen in hand is always good for me.
One of the things that I've noticed, kind of like you realizing how writing and listening can help you feel better in your body, is if I have to, whether that be producing an audio or making a meal or getting on with the different tasks and things of my day, I don't have as much time to focus on whatever might be bothering me, whatever might be, um, and I'm referring now to more mental, more what's in my mind than my body, although certainly I can apply it to that too, is when I have something to focus on that I enjoy or focus on that something that needs to be done as a part of life, I get a break from my monkey mind. I get a break from whatever ailment might be up for me in that day,
Mm,
mentally or physically.
yeah,
But if I'm not, if I stop completely, then I have a more of a challenge with helping my mind stay in a positive place
yeah,
where I can, the mind can just start spinning in on itself. Because I'm often home alone as well and working from home. And if I don't have some things to focus on some days that can be not a good idea.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. Thursday mornings is usually when I edit our podcast, and that's quite a nice routine. And there may be days where I feel like, oh, I'm not sure if I feel well enough to do this today, but I'll prop myself up and just make a start. And invariably, I lock in and I feel happy doing that. And yeah, engaging the mind. Guess it's like that saying, isn't it? What is it? An idle mind is the devil's workshop. So,
Oh my goodness, yes.
occupational therapy for the mind. Yeah.
Well, and to be in a place where you can recognize that as a gift. To be like, "Oh, I know better. I know that what I need to do right now, even though I think I need to ball up, curl up, uh, run away, whatever, actually, it would be very helpful for me to move forward doing X, Y, or Z while my mind is suffering
Yeah.
because I can take it away from here and move it to there, and chances are by the time I have completed whatever task at hand, project, or whatever it might be, um, I probably am feeling better already anyway, at
Mm,
least my experience, because I've shifted things instead of staying in that loop.
right. Yeah. 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 That's definitely helpful. And you're also reminding me of something else I do, which is to watch my mind objectively, to disengage from whatever's looping in it and to step back and observe it, see what it's snagged on, see if I know why, and make a good choice to either engage it in some work or something creative or some study. Study is also really good for my mind if I have the mental energy for it. So to either choose to engage it, as you just said, or calm it, step outside, take some breaths, listen to something beautiful. But it really helps to disengage from our mind or non-identify from our mind. Anxiety is always worse if we think, what's wrong with me? But it's the mind. It's the mind spinning its stories, locking into things. Right now, my challenge is to not check the news. Never helps me, but my mind wants to do it. It wants to check, it wants to see how everyone's doing. So to notice patterns and see how I can redirect.
And to ask yourself too, whose thought is this? Where is this
Hmm.
coming? That's so helpful in being objective with your mind, is because so much of what pops up, what we think we're thinking, isn't even ours. It was never ours. It's something that we're picking up from the collective, or from a caregiver, or from something that we've read, or it goes on and on and on to come back to that. Oh, who does that belong to? And then to start identifying some of those along the way, be like, "Oh my goodness, that is this teacher from 3rd grade, or that is that is this person that I dated in college," or whatever, to be like, "Okay, that's not me. That's not mine."
Yeah, not me and not helpful.
No,
Yeah, always good to just take a step back. And again, as you were saying earlier, it's one of those practices where you stop, or slow down, step back,
check in.
and and just check. Don't take it for granted, and certainly don't take the mind's propaganda and story loops for granted.
The other thing that I would invite our listeners to do is to ask yourself, if I were truly being me, who would I be?
Mm,
What would I be? Where would I be? Get really curious about you, and not the projections that have been a part of your lifetime, the things that are projected on you, but really get to that deep space of understanding who you are when you're truly being yourself.
yeah, that's been one of the discoveries for me of living alone is total self accountability. I could lay in bed all day and eat potato chips and nobody would really know. But I have a duty of care to myself to do better than that.
Right.
And I've got quite a steady routine, really steady routine. When I get up, go to bed, when I eat.
It's helpful, isn't it? The routine.
Yeah, so helpful, so helpful. It's not always easy. My body isn't always easy to get up and get going, but if my mind's saying, you know, don't do something, I'll just do it because my mind usually isn't being helpful. So I'll just start, even if it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to take a long time. I'm not going to follow the dictates of my mind. And on difficult days, my goal is to go to bed that night feeling better than I did when I got up and knowing that I've done something at least that serves me well in my development as somebody that wants to become a better person, and hopefully something that's been helpful to somebody else too. And then that's a good day.
It is, and to be able to, uh, I like to make lists. I'm a list maker. I pit to list mind. And some days I can only cross off 1 or 2 things on the list. And I've learned to accept that
Mm,
and give thanks for what I could accomplish that was important to me in that time.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just a matter of not allowing my brain or believing my brain that I don't have the energy to do something when clearly if I actually got up off my ass, I could I could do something. Uh, because that's the other thing too. I don't feel like it. Well, that that is a little bit of a cop out in my opinion. So I'll push a little bit further to say, okay, can we do this? Can we do this even for 10 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, that's always the mind, isn't it?
Yeah, the mind.
The mind not being our friend. And it
Yeah,
makes me think of, if our kids are younger and you're trying to do something lovely and the kid says, I don't feel like it, that how would we respond to that? We're not going to say, okay, me neither. Let's sit down and sulk or
right,
do nothing.
right, right.
We're going to say, no, this is nice. Let's go do it. We'll all
Yeah.
feel better for it. So yeah, that's definitely,
And knowing that, thank you for bringing that up, is that how many times do we look at something after the fact and say, "Oh, I'm so glad that I went for it, that I tried."
yeah,
And not in a place of pushing yourself to, exhaustion, but a place of giving yourself a nudge, a healthy nudge toward something that is gonna serve you well.
yeah. And to remember what helps. And that will often get added to my journal throughout the day. My journal goes with me throughout the day. So especially if I'm in extra pain in the morning and I'm struggling with something, um, I'll make a note of, how can I do my best with this? And then I'll come back around midday or wherever, and there'll be something I've read, something I've heard, something I've tried to learn. There'll be something
Mhm.
that I've tried, and then I'll put it in there and just write a note to myself. I'm making a note of this because it helped, and I want to remember what helped.
Mm. Trying to think of what else, music for me is something that I find very, very helpful and soothing, and it can change your mood so quickly depending on what it is you choose to listen to. It can lift you up, it can calm you down, it can and to be, aware of the fact that there's so much new music coming out every single day, and to have young people in your life is that, "Hey, have you listened to this band or this person or this," and to find something new, that always seems to lift my spirits, to be in that space of, "Oh, Shan, you need to listen to more music. It's too quiet right now. Let's get some music on and lift your spirits in that way."
Yeah, it's interesting. I think sometimes we're very aware of the negative things that come to our mind and come to our attention. And we can get really overwhelmed by them from the media, from the news, from things we hear from others. That sometimes we forget that we have a choice in choosing positive, hearing audiobooks. I'm always listening to lectures, classes, um, music. To have those things to hand too. I have a paper journal with a running list in the back of it of the things that help me to do and to listen to. And I like to have that to hand. I don't refer to it as often as I thought I would, but I think just that it's committed to paper and it's nearby kind of has its effect on me. But we need reminding, and we need good people in our lives to remind us too. Good conversations and good things to listen to that remind us, put something good in your ears. There's a Vedic teaching that our ears are very connected to our heart. What goes in our ears goes to our heart. So to be careful to let the ears take good things in and not disturbance.
Mm, yeah. Well, one of the things I'm grateful for is to be on this journey with you and with all of our listeners and all of the feedback that we get and the ways that we commingle in the groups and look after each other and know that we're doing the best we can with what we have where we're at.
Yeah, that's the motto, isn't it? That's really got me through some rough times. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ananga. It's been a pleasure having this conversation, and we look forward to coming back in the next couple of weeks with a new episode. Thanks for listening.